Now we're talking about implements on the environment, the socio-technical environment we're in. So this is Realpolitik now. Let's see some realities here. First, I'll put the Maslow goggles on. Abraham Maslow worked this in the 50s, the pyramid of needs we can see. We know about physiological needs, and then on the top of the pyramid we have the self-actualizing people. In aviation, I created this one here. The bottom of the pyramid is a license holder. As you can see, I'm not calling it an aviator. I'm calling it a license holder because all you have is a piece of paper that tells you that you are licensed to fly. Now, if you go with some basic flying skills and you have respect for the golden rules of flying, you become a pilot. And if you start going through your flying and you're perceiving the cues which are always there for you, you're not going oblivious through something, you will acknowledge that you're getting experience. It's the same thing as walking into a Van Gogh exposition and not seeing the art around you. I saw a lot of paints, but did you really perceive what's there? So you meet 10,000, 20,000 hour people flying through their careers, just walking through a Van Gogh gallery without appreciating what's there. So once you appreciate that, you move on and you share that with others, you are on the path to become Uber pilot and reaching the pinnacle of ultimate airmanships. Now, talking about airmanship and professionalism, this is called an Air 3407. The accident is quite known. Both pilots, underpaid, overworked, sleeping in lounges. First officer Rebecca making $23,900. Basically, she was on food stamps. She could not afford housing in New York area, so she had to commute all the way from West Coast. Now, if you read the report, all you see is probable cause, flight crew's failure to do this, flight crew's failure to do that, and captain's failure to manage the flight. Now, if I read that and I put on my Google Translate, all I see here is because of absence of mechanical problems, we're blaming the pilots. Nothing more, nothing less than pilot error. I think personally it's a very bad report. We cannot really learn much from this. Where is the society in this? And here comes the major issue. We're looking at the macro perspective. The society in this report is here. Work of Polanyi. Very influential work, The Great Transformation. I think one of the most influential books of last century. He talks about fictitious commodities and real commodities. A real commodity is created for the market and is subjected to the self-regulating market, where you have a supply and a demand. Here they're burning 40 million tons of coffee in Brazil after 1929. The economy was doing very bad. So they're trying to influence the market by getting rid of the supply. Now, a fictitious commodity is not the one created for the market, is labor, land, and money. Labor is a product of our existence. Land is created, it's nature if you want to call it, and money is the result of the markets. The problem starts when we're treating a fictitious commodity as a real commodity. This is what Polanyi calls the satanic meal. Self-regulating markets, we have, despite what is advertised, I believe we have an excess of pilots in the market. And if you don't believe in that, please somebody explain to me how pay-to-fly schemes have become true and reality if there is not an oversupply. I think we have a shortage of people willing to accept very bad terms and conditions. That's the shortage is there. But where does that stand? From the airline? No, from the society. We don't want to pay more for the ticket. The whole thing starts because we treat labor as a real commodity, and with the end of communism, free capitalism reigned with no constraints. Now we have turbo-capitalism. There is never in the human history a bigger gap between the rich and the poor, ever. Now, obviously, we're dumping our wages, reducing costs, and what happens then? We're reducing career appeal. Less people want to become pilots. Reducing career appeal will then do what? Less crew per aircraft, and will then increase your flying hours. People will get tired. People will be trained at a faster pace, and that will reduce training quality, and you'll change your recruiting policies. Sorry. All of that degrades human performance. What do we do then? Degraded human performance. Well, humans are the problem. Get rid of the bad apples, because we treat labor as a commodity. Just give me another one. And we add more automation. So when we add more automation thinking we're going to fix the problem, you put people into automation dependency. It makes it worse. So all of that degrades further the job security, which will then reduce his career appeal. All of that, we affect the psychological, moral, and physical entity of man for a cheap ticket or more profit. And that's the reality of our society today. Not only in aviation, in everywhere.